What's up, guys? It's BunnyMuffins here. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but I'm so excited today because we're so close to playing ranked again in Teamfight Tactics. But as usual, let's just jump straight into the patch notes. So first we have traits. Glacials are nerfed. That's pretty great. Lower stun chance, since Olaf was absolutely bonkers with it with 4 Glacial. So that's good. Light heals based on dying champions. I like this change. It's a little more thematic. Also, now when the tank dies, you get a big HP boost, for example. Ocean got buffed. Okay. So this is going to be a little scary. Ocean mages are already pretty strong, and giving more power to 4 Ocean, for example, can create a huge power spike for any mage comp. Shadow got nerfed. This makes sense. 4 Shadow was S tier last patch, if not the strongest comp, so I'm totally fine with that. The numbers just look a little awkward compared to before, but that's whatever. Good change. Wardens are buffed. I like that as well. They definitely are weaker than what Knights were in the last set as like the generic tank class. Only getting armor seems a bit wonky, so I'm hoping this minor buff should help them out. So now onto the champions. So Jax got buffed at level 3. This is odd since I think he was already pretty strong because Iceborne Gauntlet is pretty strong, though it's worth mentioning that Jax's ability damage is not central to the champion, so this change is pretty minor. Okay, so now that I glance over the tier 2 champions, all of these got a 3-star buff on their ability damage. So I think these are all fair. It's hard to get a 3-star, and none of these guys are really broken, so I don't think this is going to change many games. It's going to affect very few of them. It's just going to affect some of the high roll games where you just get like 6 Jaxes or 6 LeBlancs, for example. It shouldn't really affect too much. Also, it's like you have to both complete the 3-star, and then it does like a little more than 10% more damage, like 12% for Syndra, for example. So it's not really going to change too much at all. Same story for the tier 3, though it's worth noting that Aatrox and Kindred got buffed, and those are actually champions people 3-star, especially Kindred. And Kindred's ability is very critical. Also, Aatrox got like a 25% buff, so those are actually pretty big buffs for them. It's kind of scary that Kindred's getting buffed because she's already really strong in the last patch, but the rest shouldn't see too much change since I've rarely seen them at 3 stars. Now for the balance changes. Oh, okay, so before they're just doing 3-star changes. Now it's just the regular balance ones. So we start off with Ivern and Maokai. They both got nerfed. Completely fair. I think the Druid Woodland combo was far too easy to get considering how strong it was. They're essentially free placeholders until Wolf Camp in most cases, so this is really good. Nasus got a buff early game and a nerf at 3-star, so this helps when you're transitioning with Wardens, but it makes Hyper Roll Lights a little weaker, which is fine. Oh, they buffed his health too. Or no, they changed it in the same way as before. Yeah, so same outcome. Talia's mana got reduced and her stun got increased. Very fair. She's probably the worst champion in the game, but I don't think these buffs are enough to make her playable because they're not that game changing. But I'm glad they did buff her. It's good to give attention to her. Next we have Vayne. Vayne got the Nasus treatment as well. Higher damage at level 1, lower at level 3. So overall, both Nasus and Vayne, these are buffs because you're going to have the 1-star a little earlier. And no one actually goes 3-star except for Hyper Roll Lights, but you don't actually complete them till much later because you don't hit all your 3-stars after Krugs, for example. You hit maybe 1 or 2 of them. So Vladimir, he got a slight nerf as well. Thank God also, since he was hella broken for a 1-cost unit, so I'm very happy about this change. Especially the 3-star one, though. It's only a 10% nerf, so I wonder if it's actually going to do anything. He's probably still really good. So next we have tier 2. Malzahar got nerfed, which is good. Good for shadow nerfs. Rek'Sai got buffed early and nerfed late, while Skarner got a straight up buff. Okay, so this scares me a little bit because I think Predator's already pretty strong, and Skarner getting straight up buffs is pretty worrisome in my opinion. So next we have Thresh. His ability, his shield got increased at all stages, so Thresh just got a straight up buff. Again, this scares me because I'm afraid of Oceans taking over the entire game because 6 mages, 4 Oceans, just really strong. and they buffed pretty much all aspects of them. Lastly, we have Yasuo. He got buffed early game and nerfed late game, so this is obviously good for Yasuo because I haven't seen a 3-star Yasuo yet in this patch. This is an overall buff then, since he's just slightly stronger at level 1, but shouldn't change too much since you always want to play him at 2-star. Next we have tier 3. Ezreal's the only one there. He got a straight up buff. That's good. Rangers are kind of only abusing Kindred right now, so having other contenders as Rangers to play is always going to be nice. It also makes up for the glacial nerfs, which affect him, and he's not really the carry of that team, so it is a good compensation for that for Ezreal. So at tier 4, we have Ashe buffed. So same opinion as Ezreal, though Ashe is pretty strong since Crystal is a pretty good synergy because you could transition into a late game champion such as Taric very easily. So I like that buff. Brand got buffed early and nerfed at 3-star. So this is just a straight up buff because we'll never see a 3-star Brand. We'll see him once in the entire set. So everyone who's watching this, you'll see it just once when you're playing your own games. So this doesn't actually change anything. Again, I'm scared of any Mage and Ocean buff since this was picking up huge popularity towards the end of last patch. And they buffed almost all of those champions. Brand also gets an extra bounce down here. So overall, it's a 25% buff in terms of bounces and 20% buff in terms of damage. So overall, it's kind of like probably around like a 50% buff, which is disgustingly huge if you think about it because Brand is he's the mage carry, so they just buffed him by 50% at level 1. I know it's just level 1, but if you get him early, that's a huge difference. So I don't know what Riot's thinking. I already know the game balancers don't play the game, but buffing one of the strongest champions by 50% damage at level 1 has to be wrong. And to do the math for 50%, we have... So before he had 4 bounces at 250 damage, which is 1,000 damage, and it got buffed to 300 damage and 5 bounces, which is 1,500 damage. So 1,000 versus 1,500, 50% buff. But moving on now, Malphite got a buff, so they're just buffing... I think he's a mountain, right? Yeah, so I guess it helps out Talia a tiny bit as well because she might see some play, but mountain's obviously not the best. It's okay to have, but Malphite's just good on his own, so I guess this is welcome as well. His synergies just are terrible, but the champion himself is pretty good. Thank God for Olaf nerfs. Maybe the balanced team does play the game after all, since they noticed Olaf was a little too strong. So while I normally don't support nerfing something twice because they nerfed Glacial procs, and now they're nerfing Olaf's mana, I think in this scenario it's pretty fair because Olaf in 4 Glacial was just completely bonkers at many points in the game, so I agree with this. Yorick also got some nerfs, thank God for that as well, because he was by far the best summoner. No more Gravediggers to haunt my dreams for that. Lastly, we have the tier 5, starting with Singed. He got nerfs to his health and damage. Yeah, so to his health and damage. I'm completely fine with this. I already predicted that Singed would be the best legendary, and like in my last video. So I'm glad they nerfed him because he can just be played in so many different comps just because he's naturally strong on his own, so I'm really glad they nerfed him. And Taric got a slight buff, so this should help put Crystal higher on our radar. So next we're moving on to items. Frozen Heart got nerfed, and down here we see Iceborne Gauntlet also got nerfed. I like the Iceborne change, it was the best item, just like, again, how I predicted before, but Frozen Heart, I don't like this change because I know they want to keep the numbers consistent, but no one builds Frozen Heart, so they either need to rework how the slow gets applied or just keep it at a higher percent than Iceborne Gauntlet. Frozen Heart's clearly pretty weak right now because we don't have an assassin similar to Pike or something like that. But next we have Guardian Angel. So, okay, yeah, this is a huge Guardian Angel change that I heard about before. I didn't think they were actually going to do this, but you can no longer be healed while being resurrected, so there's now no more broken Redemption Guardian Angel combo, which was one of my favorites, so I personally hate this change. GA is now terrible, don't build it. Redemption's still useful. Ionic Spark damage got reduced, so Riot really hates this item for some reason. I don't even think it's that good. They nerfed it 2 patches in a row now. It used to be 125 damage, then they changed it to 100, and now it's going to be 90. I don't know why they hate it so much. It's like a decent item, but I don't think it's like broken that it deserves a nerf, but whatever. Man, I really hate this Guardian Angel change, though. It's kind of depressing for me. That was like my favorite item combo. So lastly, I'll explain how rank's gonna reset. So there is a hard reset on your rank, such as if you're bronze, gold, or platinum, we're all gonna be iron now. So you'll play your placement games, and you can't like lose your rank as you're playing your placements games. So it's like you don't have to worry about that. But we are all being set back to iron. And there's also going to be, they don't mention it here, but there's a soft MMR matchmaking rating reset, which kind of evens out the playing field so that everyone returns to the mean or median. So while Riot doesn't release the exact numbers, I'll briefly explain how this works. So let's say the average MMR of the entire TFT player base is around 1200 rating. So if you're 3000 MMR, your new MMR will be 3000 plus 1200 divided by 2, so that'd be 2100. And if your MMR was like 400, your new MMR will be 400 plus 1200 divided by 2, which would be 800. So it's essentially bringing everyone closer together. Again, I don't know the exact MMR numbers because I don't think they've released the numbers for that. But that's how a soft reset works, in case you're curious. So the last change is that there's no more losing LP for placing 4th or better. So this is an interesting change. I don't personally agree with it because I think if you're facing an easier lobby, getting 4th should lose you elo if you're much higher than them. For example, the challenger's playing in an iron lobby and he got 4th, like he deserves to lose LP. But I guess this makes top 4 much more important, especially if you are high elo where you used to lose LP for 4th place, but it really shouldn't affect the majority of the playing population. So that's it on the patch notes. I think Ocean Mages got the biggest buff because they got like 4 different things buffed, so that definitely should be something to look out for. The Guardian Angel change really destroyed Zed's Guardian Angel Redemption combo, which was pretty broken, but I wish they nerfed it in a different way, such as by nerfing Zed somehow, but it's like a very specific thing, like one instance where Guardian Angel was being completely bonkers, where there must have been a more elegant way to change it, but hey, I'm not a game designer. But also watch out for the Hyper Roll Light. They got a slight nerf, so maybe we shouldn't force it as much, but I don't really think it affects the core of the comp since it was such a small nerf, so it actually might just have the same power level. Also be aware of how strong Predators could be since Skarner got a huge buff. I'm pretty sure he's a Predator, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm thinking Predators could be a nice force comp to get top 4 with, but I'll have to confirm it myself by playing through this patch. So that's it for the patch notes. For a small channel update, sorry for taking a break between my videos. This channel, I'm trying to focus it on providing content for competitive players wanting to get better, wanting to get higher ranks in TFT. And with rank down, I didn't see any value in making content, but let me know your thoughts below in case they disable ranked during a different period. I've actually been taking time to play some other games such as Legends of Runeterra, the League card game, and Hearthstone Battlegrounds. They're both quite fun and engaging, honestly. Let me know if you'd be interested in maybe some competitive guides for these games. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section if you want that. Also, if you're a new viewer, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to softly brush the like button as well. See you all next time.